It's often on this channel we typically talk about stock market investing. I show you my portfolio balance, I show you the stocks that I'm investing in, my performance, my YouTube income, all that good stuff that I typically show, and I break down in these investing charts my numbers behind the companies, the reason why I think it's a good opportunity to invest in them, and why I think they're going to be successful investments in the future. But today is not that video. Today we're not talking about portfolio balance. Today we're talking about the 4 types of millionaires and their habits. The funny thing is that throughout the 4 different types of millionaires that was studied in this article, they typically had 3 similar traits. We're going to go over what those 3 traits are. Do I tend to inhabit any of these 3, if at all? And do I think I'll be a millionaire? So far, I'm on track to do so. In my portfolio tracker here, if we scroll down to the bottom of the list, my goal is to get to $1 million by the age of 40. Now, that's a very ambitious, very aggressive goal. If I have to extend that goal to 45, 50, or even 60 years old, then it becomes much more attainable. But my plan is to get to the $1 million status by the age of 40 by hitting these numbers right here, and this is my real raw numbers and estimates and how I get there. Now, I intend to invest in companies that are high-growing, profitable businesses like the 4 you see here, and while 2022 has been rough, I think these are going to be great compounders for growing wealth in the future. We're going to talk in this video about what these 4 are, the 3 typical trends, the traits that you typically see with these 4, the saver investors, the company climbers, the virtuosos, and the dreamers. All 4 of these, I think, are compelling personality traits to have, not only for creating wealth, but living your life in general. And we're going to go over the 3 traits, but without further ado, my name is Jordan. I'm a millennial investor. This is my portfolio balance as of the time of me starting at around $35,000. And then as I kind of hinted at earlier, this is my balance since starting my YouTube channel back in April of 2020 with a small $1,500 investment. My current holdings are shown below. The 4 stocks that I own in order from biggest to smallest is Salesforce, Amazon, Google, and Crocs. And then we have my performance, which so far I'm generally speaking beating most of the indexes. I'm beating all the big ones, including the S&P 500. We are getting beat by the Dow, but so far the negative 13% is not bad considering the type of market that we're in. My monthly YouTube income over time, and then my lifetime YouTube income, which of course will help assist with getting to this $1 million goal long term. Now, if you're not familiar with me, I also share my portfolios down below, including my growth portfolio, the 4 that I just told you about, as well as my dividend growth portfolio. All the dividend growth companies that are great for providing income, being defensive in all economic environments, and creating an opportunity to build wealth as a shareholder in these extremely profitable, dominant, monopoly-like companies that will likely be around much longer than I'll even plan to be alive. So their very high 3.66% dividend yield is not stopping anytime soon, and if anything, they'll be going up. If you like these companies, if you like this model of me sharing my portfolio, this is shared down below in the description, including mentoring calls, $10 for getting signed up on the One Finance, credit card referrals, and all types of stuff like that. So you'd help support me in the channel, you'd help get yourself started with investing, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the 4 types of millionaire habits and millionaire personality traits that this person found over the last 5 years. Now he starts the article by saying in 2004, I set out to conduct a 5-year Rich Habits study to explore how the world's wealthiest people think about their money. Each of the 225 millionaires I interviewed fell into one of the 4 categories. The first one being saver investors. No matter what their day job is, they make saving and investing part of their daily routine. They're constantly thinking about smart ways to grow their wealth. I think that this is so important. And number 1, I think everyone pretty much needs to have as a millionaire to really be successful in the financial world. I think they all need to have at least a little bit of number 1. If we look at number 2, 3, and 4, and we'll go through those, number 1 is pretty much a necessity. If you're not thinking of ways to increase your power, increase your ownership in stocks, increase your ownership in real estate or a business that you're starting, or just overall increase your dominance in the financial world, then you're likely not going to be successful. Sometimes, I think with especially number 4, a dreamer, this can sometimes bypass number 1, but generally speaking, most successful millionaires, most successful billionaires are savers/investors. And more importantly, they find ways to create value in the world, create value in society. It's not just about putting money in a savings account. It's about bringing real value in terms of our economic output, in terms of capitalism, and it's really what creates opportunities for investors, and myself included, opportunities for the long term. Number 2, company climbers. Now, company climbers work for a large company and devote all of their time and energy to climbing the corporate ladder until they land a senior executive executive position with an extremely high salary. Now, if you look at number one and number two, if you had to put me into one, I think I'm really a blend between number one and number two. I'm focusing so much all the time about building our savings account, increasing our equity in our home, investing in the stock market, and then my second part of my main focus in terms of my investing side of my lifestyle is being a company climber, someone who's trying to level up, someone who's trying to reach that next stage in their career and just build opportunities not only for myself but my family in the future. Being a company climber is one of the most common everyday ways that I see people become millionaires. It's not so much from saving, because generally speaking, people don't make enough to save their way to $1 million unless it's over a multi-decade period, and even then a lot of times it's very hard. So being a company climber, in my opinion, is probably the most common, but this leads us to the number three and number four, which are a little bit more fun, a little bit of a twist, which number three being the virtuosos. They're coming the best at what they do. They're paid at a high premium for their knowledge and expertise. Formal education, such as advanced degrees, example in law or medicine, is usually a requirement. This is such a cool one to see. You see people like this that generally have a specific skill or specific set of knowledge. For example, I knew a guy that was really in-depth, had a lot of knowledge about fracking in the oil field. He had a specific skill that almost no one else in the entire country did. It was very rare to see someone being able to operate and have knowledge on the equipment that he was working on, and he got paid very, very handsomely. He got paid well into the six figures, hundreds of thousands of dollars, just because he had knowledge and experience in something that almost no one else did. He was in a fragmented market. He had opportunity to advance where no one else did. And that is what a virtuoso does. It doesn't matter what their niche market is, they're going to find a way to excel in it. Dreamers, and this is kind of the most fun and the one that's really kind of a curveball here. The individuals in the group are all in pursuit of a dream, such as starting their own business, becoming a successful actor, musician, or best-selling author. Dreamers love what they do for a living, and their passion shows up in their bank accounts. Dreamers, the one that becomes successful dreamers, are typically the ones that I think you see are the most happy, the ones that are really following passion. And I think this is so funny because I heard a YouTuber say a long time ago that generally speaking, if you work really hard at something and you pursue whatever you're trying to do in life, the money will follow. And it's so true. It doesn't matter if you're into stock market investing or finance. You really don't have to be, because if you're a dreamer, if you're someone who follows what you love, generally the money will follow suit. The best part about being a dreamer is that it doesn't matter about the money. Typically, the money is just kind of a secondary, if not a tertiary, a third level thing that you think about. It's not even a main focus. A dreamer is focused on their passion. If your passion is becoming a dancer, then you're a dreamer and you focus on becoming a dancer, and maybe if you're a really good one, you'll become an extremely high-paying dancer because you have a skill that no one else has, or at least you're better than everyone else at it. Dreamers can make a lot of money, and they're generally very happy doing it. Now, the funny thing is that generally speaking, millionaires, the first trait that they have is that they're automated and save 20% of their net pay. Now, this article talks about the 20% that they generally save, and I'll say for myself, I save much more than 20% of my income. If you want to know the real numbers behind it of my day-to-day, I'm trying to think of my actual percentage. I normally think in terms of dollars rather than percentage, but just thinking roughly off the top of my head, I believe we save somewhere around 30% maybe. Yeah, the more I think about it, it's probably around a third of our income. My wife and I, we save around a third because generally speaking, I put into my 401k. If you look at my portfolio balance, you can see that this is not the only account I have. I actually have a company-sponsored 401k that I just started investing in. 6% of my salary goes in there. We also have $500 that goes into our main investing account, the one that you see right here, the one that I typically show on the channel. $500 goes into that at the first of the month every single month. Then, of course, on top of that, I also have my employer stock purchase plan where I purchase 10% of the company's stock using my salary. Then I tend to sell it back right after I get it earned, so that way I can sell it for a profit because they get to buy it at a 15% discount. Then I also have a home equity. Every month that I make my mortgage payment, home equity comes with that. And there's also several $100s a month just on top of our regular saving and investing that we just put in our savings account. Now, this could vary. It depends on the month, but it could be anywhere from $100 to $1,000 depending on what our month looks like, depending on what our expenses are. But generally speaking, we try to put back at least a couple $100s every single month to our regular savings, to our emergency savings, so that way we can cover any emergency costs, cover any unexpected expenses, and then of course save up for big things like vacations, new cars, cars, fun stuff like that. Number two, they regularly invested a portion of their savings. And this is so true. If you look at this chart, this is not all me putting money into it. A big help of it is from investments. Look at the lifetime YouTube income. Sure, since I've started YouTube, I've made a little over $6,000. But when you consider that this is over a 2.5 year period, $6,000 is not a lot of money. That's a couple $100 a month on average, I believe. Now, $6,000 is great. I'm extremely grateful for that, but it's not some life-changing amount. It's helped supplement the portfolio, but it really comes off the back of hard work. If you look at this, it is not putting money in a savings account. Many of these months where it goes up hundreds or even several $1,000s a month, do you think a savings account can do that? No. And I think that's why automating your investing is so important. Make it automatic at the first of the month, every single month, so you don't even have to think about it. You don't even have to consider it as an option. It's already done for you. And then number three, they were extremely frugal. And this is something that I saw myself do a lot of in previous years. It's something I still do. But I think rather than being frugal, I'm more so intentional with my money. I make decisions that are extremely important in my life. The things that I spend money on bring me lots of joy and happiness. For example, I don't buy very frivolous things. For example, I don't spend money on Starbucks coffee. That's not something that I really find a lot of value in. I don't spend money ridiculous amounts on video games. Something that I find not to be very fulfilling. That's more of like a casual, fun, relaxing thing. Something that I will spend a lot of money on is a home. A home increases my quality of life. It makes me comfortable. It gives me opportunities to not only build lots of equity, but also provide lots of room for future children that I plan on having one day, bring family members over, room for all types of stuff, garage, safety for the vehicles. There's lots of many things about it. Other things where I might spend money on where more people won't do so is something like life insurance, and knowing that I can sleep at night, just knowing that my wife is taken care of if something were to ever happen to me, or spending something like a lot of money on a vacation. We spent a lot of money on a wedding and a honeymoon, and those were life experiences I'm never going to forget. Things go away. Experiences last forever, last in your lifetime, and they really bring a core memory to your personality you won't forget forever. Now, I think being frugal, number three, is important, but I think it's less about being frugal and more so about prioritizing your spending. Don't waste money on binge shopping, on dumb shopping trips, or buying things that you don't need, or buying things to impress other people. Spend money on things that make you genuinely happy, improve your quality of life, and overall, just make you a better person. Now, these are the three traits that I find in millionaires as well, excluding the person that wrote this article, and I agree that the four categories that he has here is pretty common. Myself, like I said, I'd put myself kind of a blend between number one and number two, and while I'm not a millionaire yet, I plan to get there. Stay tuned, I'll show the journey. If I'm completely wrong and I never even get close, you're going to see it. If I get there tomorrow, you're going to see it as well. But other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you watching all the way to the end. Check out all the stuff down below in the description. And without further ado, my name is Jordan, I'm a Millennial Investor, and I'll catch you guys next time.